Is the new Flesh the album that proves Sylosis have officially hit their peak? That's the question I kept asking myself while listening to this record, because when a band is 7 albums deep into their career, you don't just expect consistency, you expect evolution, you expect refinement, and sometimes you expect a statement. Before we get into the album itself, let me talk briefly about my connection to Sylosis. I actually started listening to the band in 2023 with A Sign of Things to Come. That was my entry point. After that, I went back and listened to their entire discography from Conclusion of an Age all the way through their most recent material up to this one. I was planning to do a full ranking video with a tier list and all that, but the more I listened, the more I realized that their albums are almost all on the same level, so it's going to be hard to rank because they're very consistent. So instead, I decided to just do a standalone review so I can talk in more detail about this album. The New Flesh is the 7th studio album by Sylosis. It feels like a very deliberate record. Frontman Josh Middleton describes it as refined and riff-driven, moving away from past self-indulgence and focusing on a streamlined, aggressive sound, especially one designed to work in a live setting. And you can hear that immediately. The album is intense. It's technical, it's tight. Some people are even calling it a career high moment for the band, especially following Middleton's departure from Architects. Hold on a minute. I'll be right back. Oh, so now you want to talk about it? Yes, because there's somebody in the comments who keeps saying that Josh Middleton should have stayed in Architects. Yeah, because he should have. Architects is awesome. He has that awesome melodic phrasing, that metalcore sound. That was where he belonged. Added, yes, but Sylosis, he has the sound, he has the vision, thrash-influenced riffs, melodic death metal harmonies, intricate song structures. That's where Middleton mattered. You're acting like Architects held him back. He had more exposure, bigger tours, a bigger stage, all of that. They are a bigger band. Exposure doesn't mean creative fulfillment. In Architects, he had to serve an established entity. In Sylosis, he created it. That's a big difference. He brought sophistication to Architects. He can do a lot more with his guitar, a lot more guitar layers and all of that metalcore sound. Sylosis is where he controls the songwriting direction, the riffs, the atmosphere. He puts 100% in there, and the band levels up every time he plays. Or maybe being in 2 bands let him be more creative. He wasn't stuck to one playing style. Look, I respect his playing in Architects and all that, but if you ask me, where is his band? Who is his band? It's Sylosis, and that's the end of the story. I'm saying Architects was better with him than without him. Okay, enough of this. I need to get back to the review now. Sorry about that. I'm back now. There's a sense of renewed focus here. Musically, the record is rooted in the classic metal bands that shaped them. Middleton talks about the middle lane of heavy music, a blend of thrash, groove, and death metal, and you can clearly hear the influence of Sepultura, Pantera, Slipknot, Morbid Angel, Obituary, and a bunch of other bands. I'm not going to list them all, but there are even a lot of Bay Area thrash undercurrents throughout this. But influence is one thing, execution is another. So with that being said, let's go track by track. The album opens with Beneath the Surface. It's a very monstrous way to start. It's blistering, aggressive, carries immense authority. I really like that they choose one of the heavier tracks to open the album. It immediately sets a tone. The chorus explodes. Riffs are tight and precise. Middleton's vocals sound commanding, maybe more confident than ever in that breakdown with the bass guitar. Very cool moment. It adds texture without slowing the energy down. So in my opinion, it's a strong opener. Next up is Erased, one of the singles. This one shifts gears into a more mid-paced, brooding direction. It hits hard, it creates contrast with the speed of the opener. It's where you really hear that refined, riff-driven approach. It feels muscular and gritty. I remember listening to this when it first dropped as a single, and it stuck with me. It's heavy, it's controlled, the band understands pacing, and this track proves it. All Glory, No Valor brings the extreme side back in full force. I read a review calling it steroidal, thrash with a lust for violence. That's a pretty cool way to describe it. It's pretty accurate. You can clearly hear the influence of Morbid Angel and Obituary in the thrashy death metal riffs. And there's the middle section with a groove that kind of reminds me of Pantera. The breakdown here is also one of the heaviest moments on the album, and I like its placement. After a mid-paced track, they crank it up the aggression again. The sequencing on this album is very thought out. Lacerations is a darkly melodic but still massive. It's also one of the singles and one of my favorites on the album. The band really knows how to balance heaviness with melody. The song has peaks and valleys. There are anthemic hooks, but also razor-sharp riffs that keep it grounded in aggression. It feels psychological, intense, focused, and it is a standout. Mirror Mirror brings in chunky riffs with eerie, futuristic atmosphere. There's a strong thrash backbone here, but not just pure thrash. I heard a lot of groove metal influence, very reminiscent of Machine Head at times. Another track I liked a lot. The band continues to show they can blend styles without sounding scattered. Spared from the Guillotine is interesting because the front half was written by bassist Ben Thomas instead of Middleton. That shift in writing perspective adds something fresh. Musically, it's borderline psychotic, but in a good way, packed with shredding and aggressive riffing. I personally heard some Slipknot influence here mixed with thrash and death metal elements. A very energetic track. It keeps the album from becoming predictable. Adorn My Throne leans more into a more cinematic and melodic death metal direction. Does something a little different without staying too far from the Sylosis identity. There are atmospheric sections, but then it snaps back into bone-shattering riffs. I like the contrast. It gives the album breathing room while still maintaining intensity. The title track is a runaway bulldozer, strong Bay Area thrash undercurrents, complete Sepultura worship, especially their old school material, and you can feel that raw old school energy throughout. This was another single. I've been listening to it a lot. Honestly, I think it's one of the best tracks on the album. It feels urgent, focused, direct, also went through last minute rewrites, and whatever changes they made really worked for them. Here's where things get interesting. Everywhere at Once is the album's big, overblown ballad. It's Middleton's most personal song, a letter to his daughters about balancing touring life with fatherhood. It's very different from the rest of the record. It honestly reminds me of 2000s metal bands or bands like Seether or Stained. I still like it. It shows a different side of the band. It adds emotional depth, but definitely stands apart from the rest of the other more aggressive tunes on the album. But now there are two more songs left. Back to Brutality. The next song, Circle of Swords, is very, it's just ripping. The riffs are relentless, and I like the different vocal styles used throughout the song. Feels like a late album reminder of just how heavy a Sylosis can be. And the album closes with another heavy, high-energy track, Seeds in the River. It's a solid closer. I liked how prominent drums and bass guitar are here. Reinforces the growth of the band, not just as riff writers, but as musicians who understand arrangement and dynamics. Overall, a strong finish. So now moving on to my final thoughts, and back to the original question, is The New Flesh the album that proves Sylosis have officially hit their peak? I think it's one of their strongest releases. It's refined, it's focused, it's aggressive, it doesn't feel bloated, doesn't feel self-indulgent. It feels intentional. At the same time, it's not breaking any new ground. They're not reinventing metal. They're not radically changing their sound. What they're doing is perfecting it, and sometimes it's enough. Sylosis have been incredibly consistent over the years. This is a very strong addition to their catalog. I don't really have anything negative to say about it. It's just a solid, high-quality metal album from a band that knows who they are. For me, my score will be 8.5 out of 10. If you enjoyed this review, check out my review of A Sign of Things to Come by Sylosis. That should be appearing on the screen right now. That was the album that got me into the band and my first time reviewing the band. Definitely worth revisiting. If you like rock and metal reviews, album deep dives, and discussions like this, hit the like button and